how's it going? We are back at it with another episode of Let's Talk Hoops. Today's guest is going to be former Tennessee State coach Jessica Kern, who's been a foundation in that community for a long time now. She has started the Jessica Kern Foundation, which does a lot of stuff in the community. She's just a very inspiring coach and leader and person that I thought would be great to kind of have on to kind of see how she's doing in the last 6-8 months, with some changes and everything that's going on. So enjoy the show. You will really, really be inspired by her. Thank you.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Living the dream.
Hey, there you go. Aren't we all during this pandemic? Roll Tide, huh? Got the Alabama gear on, huh?
Listen, it's almost game day, baby.
All right. Okay. I'll let you go there. I appreciate you coming on doing the show. I know you're busy with the foundation and everything like that. Introduce our guests and our audience to you. I know you're former. You were at Furman. You were at Tennessee State. Now you got the Jessica Kern Foundation. Give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Oh my God. First of all, I'm a mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me start. Let me go in reverse. I'm a woman of God first.
Amen. All right.
Amen. I'm a mom, a new wife.
Okay.
Thank you. As of 2 months. And I want to say I'm a servant. I've done so many Zooms, and I think you feel a little guilty when you step outside of the coaching lane to say, like, I think you'll always be a coach. You're going to be a coach of life, a coach of kids, like always. But at the end of the day, I think it's really, really important to just know that you're a servant first. So just had a long journey in coaching, and not just COVID. God was having a call. This is my husband. Roll Tide. For a long time, God had just been putting some other stuff on my life that I couldn't necessarily do as a coach.
Right.
And that was doing exactly what I'm doing right now. And the awesome part about coaching is that between myself and my husband, we were prepared. Coaching prepared us to handle what we're going through right now. Amen. Conflict resolution, taking care of family, all of those kind of things. It prepared us for this. And then always putting God first in everything that you do. Amen. And I think a lot of people have lost that because life is so difficult right now. I think people have lost it. And so here we are. So the Jessica Kern Foundation, first and foremost, the speaking component is empowerment. Know me for a while. Yep. That is what I do. I speak life. It's natural to me. My God, he could have gave up on me so long ago. And he gave me opportunities that I know the average person doesn't get. And so that's what the foundation is. Now, COVID and the pandemic has really changed things. It's really, really changed things to the degree of, okay, maybe you can't come in and speak to organizations, but let's restructure because people need hope right now. They do. People really need to know that you can find a little tiny ounce of joy in the little things. And so I found myself in leadership management models, throwing the empowerment piece in there. Everyone assumes that coaches know how to lead. No, coaches know how to coach. Yeah. They don't necessarily know how to lead. And a part of leading is its own ministry.
It is.
The best coaches out there, kids, if you listen to like kids that quote unquote made it, they're just like, man, coach cared. Or he didn't give up on me. Yeah. Or she didn't give up on me.
That's true. That's really true. That's so true.
They didn't talk about a play that made the game-winning shot. They didn't talk about, coach lets us do a run and jump defense, but you know what? Coach just lets me go.
Yeah.
That's a relationship thing. So we've sort of tailored that. It started off with women empowerment, and now it's just empowerment, period. Trying to get you through good old life skills to be the best version of yourself. Amen. And that goes anything from wives groups to ministries. I've done single moms in ministry because that was once me. To Division II NAIA schools, like, yo, coach, I got $2, man. How do I make it work?
Yeah.
And then an entity of that is Kern's Closet. And that is on our foundation website, JessicaKernFoundation.com. Coaches, we gain and lose weight so much. you know, and we got all these clothes in our closet and we give it away. But think about the kid that doesn't have a black blazer or black slacks, that didn't have sneakers to go out for the squad, but is talented, or all the universities that throw all this apparel away. You've transitioned from Nike to Adidas, then you don't know what to do. Send them to us.
I got it. That is awesome. All right.
Yeah, and we take them to Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, awesome. Their AAU programs. Everyone assumes that AAU is so fiscally sound, but if you don't play, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
And so there's AAU programs right now that are like, okay, what do we do? Well, that's where we come in. Closed mouths don't get fed. There's no pride in this. We all were at a point where we just wanted to be hungry and grind. Mm-hmm. And that's what Kern's Closet is. We outfit, it's not just young people. You DM us on my social media channels. Mm-hmm. We make appointments. You come through, you shop, or we ship it to you. It's in suit bags. It's in boxes. I want you to know how it feels to be that person that made it.
I love
you know what I mean?
And then Kern's awesome.
Thank you. And then the last is Kern's commitment, and that's property management. Okay. We go into cities, mainly Milwaukee, where I'm from, and we find properties that are either maybe foreclosed on, tax properties, but that are in the areas that are about to be gentrified. Mm-hmm. And we keep our people in those homes.
Got you.
So what we do is we partner with like Brother Booker, Ash, the House of Peace, Battered Women and Children's Shelters, the VA, for people who just happen to fall on hard times, but are good people. And we want to flip them homes and put people in multi-year leases to allow them to know how it really feels to be in good property. So that's what we've been doing. So when people ask me like, what are you doing without coaching? Like,
I applaud you. You guys, listen, you're busier now than you probably have ever been.
And you know what? It's a shout out to all my nonprofit sectors out there. Mm-hmm. People are so reluctant. This is crazy. So be careful. And this, I'm giving you a word. When you're a coach and you have a title, everybody wants to be a part of the head coaching bus. Mm-hmm. But when you're a servant, because that's what you're supposed to be anyway, people are reluctant to donate because they cannot immediately see the reward for their donation. That's crazy. It's no different than blind faith. If we trust God and we go out on blind faith to take jobs, if we go out on blind faith to do career changes, we get recruits on blind faith, how is it that difficult to serve? So I'm telling all my nonprofit people, my small business people out there, I see you. And if I didn't see you before, you have my utmost respect.
Wow, that's a testament to stepping out on faith and hard work and believing that God has a purpose, because he does. I think the pandemic has forced all of us. I was at a corporate job and now I'm transitioning into my own company, doing podcasts, doing consulting. And it's just like God has forced us to slow down. I mean, we've sat at the table with our kids to actually have dinner and and actually talk versus everybody being on the go. And the pandemic has really forced us to slow down. So I applaud you and Jessica Kern Foundation, and I'll definitely be supporting that foundation. So as you transition from coaching, which you really like, what was the one thing as you got into coaching that you really like, man, this is what I want to do. I want to coach. Why did you want to get into coaching to begin with?
Oh my God. Like I was never the most athletic, but I, to date, hang my hat on being the most disciplined. Mm-hmm. And it worked for me. Mm-hmm. Ended up competing at Penn State University. I was a track and field athlete. Most people know that. All Big Ten heptathlete. And then up playing 7 years of Pro Bowl in Europe. My dad's from Germany. One of my closest friends got hurt and was able to matriculate my way to Europe and being a pro basketball player later. But for those reasons, that's why I got into coaching. I love going into a gym and seeing a kid that everyone passed on. Like, it gives me so much joy to be like, yo, this kid is going to be a game changer.
The diamond in the rough.
Yes. And so my dad was a coach for over 30 years. He's a Hall of Fame coach in the state of Wisconsin.
All right.
And I grew up around nothing but coaching, and they were all teachers. And I said, I didn't want to teach, but in essence, coaching is teaching, like, you know, and I just said, if this is what I'm meant to do, God, my journey, as you know, has been crazy. I mean, I've been places for pit stops, 3 years, 4 years, 1 year. And God just kept blessing me to go to the next, you know? And for me, coaching is changing lives. Yes, I invested in my craft, but I tell coaches, like I said, I've done a lot of these, gotta have players, man. You can have all the philosophies in the world and you don't have any talent. Like, but I think players will play for you. It has been heartbreaking and heart-wrenching every time I had to leave an institution. As a mom, just like I know my son gets attached to his teachers and his coaches, that was very difficult. And that's when, as a coach, you get put in a seat to, we got to eat because we know our window is small and it's tough. That's the tough part. But I got into coaching simply to change lives. My blessing was working out. My blessing was wanting to be in the gym. My gift was inspiring, and coaching just happened to like all align with those things. There's nothing like staying in the gym all day, sitting with your socks on a sideline with a kid. Like, man, like, you see that like still gives me goosebumps because it's so fun. And I think head coaches, I want to say this too, I've never gotten away from doing workouts with my kids, ever. Because I can't rip into you publicly and sometimes privately, and I can't show and prove. Like, we have to be at that point where we can get in the trenches with our kids to get muddy and get dirty.
Exactly.
And so that's what brought me to coaching. I just loved watching things form into something that kids are so proud of. And I was that kid once upon a time. And I had some coaches that changed my life, man. And I'm forever indebted.
Well, that's coaching is definitely about relationships. I coach at a NAIA school here in Ohio, and it's my first year, and I coach AAU for the last 10 years. And it's like, I still talk to players from 5, 6, 7 years ago because we built those relationships. It was beyond basketball. And in college coaching, I'm a big Duke fan, and I know Coach K believes in relationships and you know, stuff like that. So I applaud that effort and everything. As you obviously know, we're in hard times when it comes to race. And you know, and being, you know, how we are in this nation, what is your message? What is the Jessica Kern message? What is your spiel to people that you talk to about the state of the country that we're in when it comes to race?
First of all, I said this the other day, and I know you follow me on, you know, social media. Let me do my social media ploy too. For anybody that's going to hear this, social media is an avenue that requires a sense of responsibility.
Amen.
You cannot allow yourself to go on social media unless you're a reality TV star, which, you know, I say my life's a reality show every day, but but you have a responsibility. And a couple of days ago, I put out a video about being a movement versus a moment. As a lot of you know, I'm biracial. And so my dad's white, my mom's black, but I was raised in a home that the right way is the right way. And having love for your fellow man is important to just the holistic component of life coming full circle. We are in trying times right now. I have an 8-year-old son. I have cried and prayed more over him over this last year than I have his entire life. And that's crazy because as a parent, we pray so much for our children, for conversations that I didn't know if I was equipped to have.
Yes.
I was not ignorant of. My dad's a white man. He can talk to my son about being a man, but my husband can talk to him about being a black man.
Amen. Yep.
And it's different. It's really different. And more specifically and I say different in the sense of very rarely, I think pain can be our most powerful asset when we learn to use it correctly. But this last year has put a lot of people, myself included, in some very uncomfortable inner and personal spaces that you really have to figure out what you're made of. And I think scabs have been pulled off. I think the pandemic, not only that we're having from a health crisis, but from an injustice crisis, has existed for a very long time. I commend people who are okay being on the front lines. Anyone that has sent me a shirt, any alderman, congressman, city official that I've spoken with, more specifically in the state of Wisconsin, I know I have a platform that I have to use my voice, and I have to protect kids that especially look like me.
Yep.
And I employ people to not just be a hashtag. I employ people to not just be, it's popular on social media right now. You know, I have people here in my neighborhood that say, we just want to help.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't look like me. And my first response is, what you can do is say something versus saying nothing.
Yep.
When you're in a crowd of people who you've condoned certain conversations, this is your opportunity to defend and not be silent.
It is. It is. Wow.
And it's tough because I also know people who are employed at places that are so afraid to take a stance on something because jobs are so at such a minimal right now that they're afraid they won't be employed. This is something that's been going on for a long time, but I'm going to speak directly to coaches. You have a responsibility and an obligation to educate, not only if you're working for an administration that doesn't understand, because many don't.
Mm-hmm.
This is your time to put things in place and speak up in an educated way. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
To get things done. Because if the majority of our teams look like us and we don't stand for something, we have a whole nother conversation that we need to have. This is not going away. This is not going to go away.
It is not.
But we can definitely continue to have these conversations and stand up for the things in which we believe in. So yes, I've gone through a bunch of heartache and misunderstanding that I've had to fall on my knees more than times that I thought I would have to. Yeah. But I will say this, lives are being lost. And I never, ever want to be the mother that gets a phone call.
Yeah.
And I don't want,
yeah. I've got 3 boys, and I think, talking to them, about being Black men, we stay in a predominantly white area. We are the only Black in our neighborhood, only African-American family in our neighborhood.
Yep. I know how that feels.
If something happens, they knocking on our door like, hey, I'm like, wait a minute. It's, you can't just single our kids out. Right. But just talking about doing the right things. I got a son who's a freshman playing college basketball. Another son that's a sophomore, and a 5-year-old. And I weep for my 5-year-old because I'm like, he's got friends, and they don't have to deal with that at this point. But at some point in time, that talk about him, we've talked about him being Black, his friends being white, and that difference. But I think not only institutions, I think corporate America has to speak out. And the problem is that the corporate America, somebody said something, it's better to know the devil you know than the devil you don't, or something like that. In corporate America, when those guys are in suits, those guys are just as bad as the ones that, in the sheets and the shields. I mean, and it's just as bad. And I just left a corporation that had a very, very low African-American population. And to want to change that, it's got to start from the top, and everybody has to be accepted. It has to be part of your culture and what you really want to do.
And you know what I tell people, because again, I love for people to hear these conversations, candid conversations. I want you to be able to play these conversations back a year or 2 from now. Mm-hmm. When you're in an uncomfortable space, the proper response is, sir or ma'am, the right way is always the right way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get any more clear than that.
Yeah.
In your heart and in your spirit, And I have several people in my family that are in law enforcement. And I support, let me be very clear, I support law enforcement. I support those who truly are in this to protect and serve.
Yep.
But just like anything else, one rotten apple will spoil the bunch. And so that is where, from a government component, putting things in black and white, make them very clear. And we've got to do some seriously going through with a fine tooth comb. I think it will happen. I have faith, not only just in, we're not even going to go on that in the debate from 2 days ago, but
oh boy,
I have faith of anything in my life. I never lose faith in the God that I serve. And I know that he's not going to forsake and leave his people. I believe that.
His message will get through one way or another. So all this resistance, God's going to have enough in a while, and it's gonna be he'll set the record straight. So yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure. So pandemic, elections coming up. I know you're probably still close with your former players and stuff like that. What questions are they asking you about, hey coach, give me some advice on this? I mean, well, I know you give advice all the time. What are they still seeking you for guidance, even as you're not their coach? Tell me what conversations are you guys having?
Well, you know what? I think all my former players know that I have an open door policy no matter what. When you make a transition from coaching, you always want to be extremely respectful of the new staff,
Right.
And the new people that are on it. And I think that sometimes people make that mistake. You know what I mean? It's no longer your program. It's
Right.
not, whether you want to believe it is or not. It's not. Tennessee State University, I have a scholarship there for the next 4 years through the Jessica Kern Foundation for a walk-on women's basketball player, $5,000 a year. And I left that because I know the battles that we have at our Black colleges, and everywhere I've been, we've had to play those guarantee games, and especially in women's sports, you just want equity, period. And so we thought that would be our small token, to helping someone out. But my door is always open to my kids. My title didn't stop at mom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, at coach, when it's all said and done. But I think I'll say this. I mean, I have no dog in the fight at this point. Every institution I was ever at, I knew kids came to play for me. With all due respect to the institutions, I knew that.
Yep.
And so that's what made transitioning so difficult. But I think if people genuinely know how much you care, your phone and your door is always open.
Yep.
The blessing is the young women that are now a part of the program at Tennessee State University, they came in as girls, and they are now seniors. And so they've been through it.
Yep.
They've been through it, and life has taught them that steel sharpens steel. I am so proud of how articulate these young women are. I am so proud of where they are in their degree plans. I'm so proud of how they've embraced being leaders in their family, and they know their platform. And for me to sit back and watch people like Jaden Wrightsell do amazing interviews, it warms my heart. Like, it really warms my heart. So my door will never be closed to any player that I've ever had my hands on. Time heals all wounds. I've learned that. But I always make it a point to go back to graduations no matter what. And that's not going to change for TSU.
Awesome. So the state of the women's game, how would you rate the state of the women's game? I mean, obviously, without the pandemic, I think the women's game is so good now, at all levels, Division I, Division II, NAIA. I think women's game is really on a different level than it's ever have been. You as a coach at that level, how do you see the state of the women's game? Man,
before all this kicked in, that coach of the year, I was ready for it to go down. The game has become so fast paced, which again, if people follow Black college basketball, we've always had to play up tempo basketball because typically you didn't have your Amazon sitting under the rim. Now we have, trail fours that are hitting the three, but we were always usually undersized, but a lot more athletic. So we had to play quick basketball. I love the pace of the game right now. I love the fact that we're being able to get a little more feisty. That's fun to see. But I love seeing, because this is where it's starting to even out, I love seeing mid-majors go in and take games. I love seeing that. Kids, let me tell you something. There are some phenomenal mid-majors out here with amazing coaches, amazing facilities that offer cost of attendance. And kids are like, yeah, man, I want to go be a big fish. And then you get enough of those, and upset time, it's everything. It's everything. Shout out to my girl Jada at Coastal Carolina. I think this is their year. I think they're going to kick the door open. I mean, you've been knocking at 20 wins, Coach of the year, player of the year, like just schools like hers, Coach Jack at Buffalo, man, like watching them play is so fun. Coach Carson at Furman, fun. And I'm just looking forward to, especially coming out of this pandemic and kids playing. Yeah. I think those coaches who really pour into their programs, you're going to see who's really been grinding, because we've all been given the same clock. We've all been given the same window. And the minute the first tip goes up, this is going to be crazy. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. But
I'm excited.
I love where the women's game is going. It's going the pro route of positionless, and I love that.
Yeah. The WNBA has done a phenomenal job as well. Just how they've I love how they've addressed social issues and stuff like that. And just they're the athleticism, the speed in which they play the game, the quality. It's just good basketball. It is really good basketball.
Yeah.
Really,
And I think we've cleaned it up. You know, every rule changing year, we look at the shot clock. Should it be shortened? Should it be elongated? Should we reset the shot clock? Should we not? Should we expand the lane and have European lanes? But the reality is the women's game, and anybody can debate me on this. To me, it's always funner to watch. It's always been funner to watch. And this is coming from a Hall of Fame men's basketball coach, okay? As my father. But the game has been cleaned up. So originally when we cheated the shot clock in some, it was turnover city. I mean, there was turnovers all over the place. But I think we've honed that in. And, you know, we've really started cleaning up the game. And it's a lot more fun to watch, man. I mean, there's nothing like, I've always said this to every one of my centers I've ever recruited, a pick and pop and watching your big girl let it ride from the long ball, that makes the gym go crazy. That's fun to watch, you know? And
especially for a game winner. To get a game winner out of that, that's even more special.
What? It's everything. And you're giving your big girl permission to put it on the floor and get a little saucy? Yeah. That's fun to watch.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. So what does the future hold for the Jessica Kern Foundation? Golf outings, are you going to continue to be in that area? Obviously you can expand and reach everybody. I mean, are you collaborating with anybody over the next year or so, or?
Yeah, so we've really lucky. We've collaborated with Creative Girls Rock in Nashville, which has been fantastic. We did 350 book bags, complete stuffed book bags. The Army National Guard was a key sponsor in that as well. Little Caesars Pizza, Slim and Husky's Pizza. So that was fantastic. We have really been doing dolo entity type things, you know what I mean? But I'm looking to collaborate with as many people as possible. I'm employing institutions of higher learning. Like, listen, I'm here. Utilize me. Coaches coaching coaches. You know, if I just need to come be a fly on the wall, I would absolutely love to do that as well. But what we're really looking to do is we're praying that when this pandemic breaks, because what had been so good for us was camps and clinics, that we could give free advice to young people about getting into college, bringing former athletes in, former pro athletes in, you know, that are all doing at no cost, that want to pour into young people. So I really miss that part of it. But I'm open. I know the Army National Guard said, whatever you need, however you need it, which that blew my mind. I'm looking for people to really pour into the foundation. So high school teams, it doesn't even have to be teams, companies, organizations. Listen, we're here to serve you. I know you have done a million Zoom calls. And if you want to spice it up a little bit, that's what we're here for. I know people have to stay safe. I mean, we're in a predicament here, you know, where Alabama football has begun, and we have to decide whether we are physically going to go to games or not. I have parents that are, you know, over the age of 70, that have some ailments. You know, I have a young son, and I want everyone to stay safe. But however we can assist and serve, we will do that. And so that's what's next for us. But I don't think coaching is out of me yet. So,
no, I don't think so. I'm sure you'll pop up somewhere. So next year we're having a golf outing for our AAU program here in Ohio. Would love to extend an invitation to have you come and speak or do a clinic or something like that. We're you know.
Yeah. Now listen, my long game is sick. My short game is horrible.
Listen, you got to put it in a fairway, pitch and putt, and get out of there. You got to.
I'm gonna have as many mulligans as I can get. But I'd love to be there. And I mean, Ohio has been extremely, extremely good to me over the years. And again, I'm a Midwest baby, so I would love to do it. That'd be great.
All right. So definitely reach out to you. I appreciate you coming on. I do an intro before, and I told people that they were going to be inspired by you. So I appreciate. I mean, I was a big fan before. I'm a bigger fan now. So I do appreciate so much you being on. All the best to you and your family. Stay safe. I would say roll tide, but I'm a Notre Dame football fan, so I can't exactly do that. So
no, you know, I'm not even even going to hold that against you because I'm a Penn Stater through and through. But listen, if the family's in Tuscaloosa, baby, roll tide. So,
Oh man, you know what? I'm a Duke basketball guy first. So Duke
that's
basketball.
okay. That's okay. When we go win this national championship, it's okay. You can text me after. It's all right.
I appreciate you being on, Coach. Have a great day.
Thanks, brother. Stay safe.
Awesome. Take care. You got it. That was awesome. So great show with Jessica Kern. Just a phenomenal, inspiring person. Doing some great things with the Jessica Kern Foundation. So reach out to them if you can help them or be of service to them. She's just an amazing person. So all the best to everybody. We've got another episode coming up with Coach Zamora from Toledo. They've got a pro basketball team. Can't wait to get him on as well. But that was just an awesome show with Coach Kern. I really appreciate that. Take care, guys.